Welcome back to Money for Breakfast. I'm Charles Payne. Advertising firm Saatchi & Saatchi is in hot water for producing a mock JCPenney commercial that some say glorifies teen sex. The ad depicts a young couple practicing speed dressing in anticipation of a rendezvous in the basement while mom is upstairs. A furious JCPenney took Saatchi to task, saying its plans to have, quote, serious discussions with the ad firm. Here to discuss how the video could affect the retailer's brand and marketing and branding expert, we have John Tantillo and Melissa Henson, Director of Communication and Public Education at the Parents Teacher Council. Welcome to both of you. I want to start with you, John.
Sure,
JCPenney obviously wants to appeal to younger shoppers. I don't think any young folks shop there, so why are they so upset with this ad?
Because it's not good for the brand. Hip doesn't necessarily equal sex, and that's not a good thing because sex is a personal thing, and you have to be very, very careful when addressing sex.
Melissa, what are some of the biggest issues with the ad from your point of view?
Well, you know, given what's been in the news lately, Jamie Lynn Spears having a baby out of wedlock, this pact that was apparently made up in New England among 17 schoolgirls to have babies, you know, it's very difficult for parents to navigate through today's media culture and to give their children messages about being responsible. And this ad really encourages kids to try to find ways to get around their parents, to deceive their parents about what they're up to encourage them to be sexually active and hide it from their folks. And it's sending, I think, entirely the wrong message. And I think parents have every right to be outraged by this advertisement.
John, how could this actually, this type of ad, how would it impact JCPenney's brand? Listen, we know parents are going to be outraged, but isn't the point really between JCPenney, it's like, you know, we know what you're thinking. Listen, teenage sex is up dramatically in the last couple of years. 1 in 4 teenage girls has a sexually transmitted disease. To act like it's not going on might be sticking your head in the sand. A lot of folks have made a lot of money off of this, including rivals like Abercrombie and Fitch.
Well, like I said, just if one is hip, that's not only when it comes to sexuality, isn't the only story you can tell. You can tell a story by being creative. The Mentos YouTube ad was very, very creative, where you took Mentos, popped it in soda, and it got people's minds thinking. So I would propose to appeal to the thinking person rather than the emotional person.
Okay, well, Melissa, we know obviously raising children is really difficult, particularly in this day and age. How would an ad like this make a parent's job even more difficult?
Well, you know, this ad has become popular on YouTube, which is primarily used by young people. It's not a medium that parents are overly familiar with. And so for parents to try to navigate through today's media culture, you know, they're not only trying to contend against messages their kids are picking up from television, from video games, from movies. Now they also have to confront this World Wide Web, which is such an enormous entity. You know, there's so much out there. And kids are able to stream video on their cell phones. They're able to access this through all kinds of new technologies that you know, kids are leap years ahead of their parents when it comes to using these new consumer technologies. So it makes it very difficult for parents to monitor what their kids are watching, let alone set some rules and establish some guidelines and boundaries.
Well, John's shaking his head. What do you think?
Well, I think this is a perfect opportunity for JCPenney to take lemons and make lemonade. And what I mean by that is I think JCPenney should partner with a nonprofit that protects children and young adults from these types of
That's
YouTube.
very noble, John, but how does that increase their sales?
That increase their
particularly with this demographic.
Well, it's a beautiful thing, because what you do is you create a website, you put the tactics that you took on this website. What you then do is enlist an icon or icons like the Jonas Brothers to talk with the chief executive officer of JCPenney and tell them that this could happen to you. And that's the name of the campaign, that if you put something on the internet, boys and girls, on your web page, this can come back to bite you, especially if you like a job at Fox News someday.
Melissa, what's your advice to parents on how to really deal with this? We know how tough it is. You know, I have children, and the internet is so powerful. Peer pressure is even more powerful than parents. How do you deal with this? It's amazing.
Well, I think you need to, parents first of all need to educate themselves about the consumer technologies and what's available to their kids and what's out there. If they're not using YouTube, they should check it out from time to time and see what's out there that their kids are able to download, because really there are virtually no restrictions whatsoever to downloading or accessing any kind of content on YouTube. So they need to educate themselves about what's out there and also really limit what they allow their kids to have. You know, if they're getting their kids the latest and greatest cell phones that have streaming video, that have, you know, the ability to take and send pictures and things like that, parents really need to think carefully about what the potential fallout might be and how those technologies might be misapplied.
Yeah. Fantastic advice, Melissa. I want to thank you. Also want to thank John. We did contact JCPenney for a response, and they said, quote, "No one at JCPenney was aware of the ad or participated in the creation of it in any way. JCPenney does not approve or condone its content, and we ask Saatchi & Saatchi to apologize to our customers and our associates for misrepresenting our company in this manner."